Here's a short story continuation. The dark waters of the Pacific Ocean churned and foamed as Gipsy Danger, the iconic Jaeger, faced off against Knifehead, the ruthless kaiju. The two titans stood poised, their eyes locked in a fierce stare. Gipsy Danger's spotlights illuminated the dark sea floor, casting an eerie glow over the desolate landscape. Her massive feet were planted firmly on the ground, her fists clenched and ready to strike. Knifehead, its razor-sharp claws snapping with deadly precision, took a step forward. Gipsy Danger mirrored the movement, her eyes never leaving the kaijus. The air was electric with tension as the two enemies sized each other up. The battle was going to be a long one, with neither side giving an inch. Gipsy Danger's systems hummed with anticipation, her processors working overtime to analyze the kaiju's movements and patterns. She knew that Knifehead was a formidable opponent, with its speed and agility making it a difficult target to hit. But Gipsy Danger was no ordinary Jaeger. She was a veteran of countless battles, and her systems had been honed to perfection. She knew exactly how to take down Knifehead, and she was ready to put her plan into action. The battle began, with Gipsy Danger and Knifehead clashing in a flurry of punches and kicks. The two titans exchanged blows, their movements lightning fast as they danced across the sea floor. The fight was intense, with neither side giving an inch. Gipsy Danger's spotlights cast eerie shadows on the surrounding water, making it seem as though the Jaeger was fighting an army of Knifeheads. But Gipsy Danger was focused, her systems working together in perfect harmony. She knew exactly what she was doing, and she was determined to take down Knifehead once and for all. The battle raged on, the two titans exchanging blows and neither gaining the upper hand. But Gipsy Danger was patient, her systems humming with anticipation. She knew that the turning point was coming, and she was ready to seize it. The question was, would Knifehead be able to withstand the Jaeger's fury? Here's a continuation. Gipsy Danger's massive robotic fists continued to clash with Knifehead's razor-sharp claws, the two titans exchanging blows in a flurry of metal and monster. The Jaeger's spotlights illuminated the dark sea floor, casting an eerie glow over the battle-scarred landscape. Despite the kaiju's formidable strength, Gipsy Danger refused to back down. Her robotic fists pounded against Knifehead's sharp, knife-like head, the blows landing with precision and force. But Knifehead was far from defeated. The kaiju's massive, clawed arms pushed back against the Jaeger, sending Gipsy Danger stumbling backward. The robot's systems hummed with effort as she struggled to regain her footing. Undeterred, Gipsy Danger charged forward once more, her fists flying in a blur of motion. Knifehead met her head-on, its claws snapping wildly as the two titans clashed. The battle raged on, the two enemies exchanging blows and neither gaining the upper hand. But Gipsy Danger's systems were beginning to adapt, her processors analyzing the kaiju's movements and patterns. She knew that Knifehead's weakness lay in its relatively small size and agility. The kaiju was fast and nimble, but it lacked the brute strength of some of the other monsters. Gipsy Danger's strategy shifted, her systems focusing on using her size and strength to overpower the kaiju. She pinned Knifehead to the ground, her robotic fists pounding against the monster's head and shoulders. The kaiju let out a deafening screech as Gipsy Danger's blows landed with precision and force. The Jaeger's systems hummed with triumph as she sensed victory within her grasp. But Knifehead was far from defeated. The kaiju's claws flailed wildly, searching for an opening to strike back. Gipsy Danger's systems remained on high alert, ready to adapt to the ever-changing battle. Here's a continuation. Knifehead's claws finally found their mark, striking Gipsy Danger with a powerful blow that sent the Jaeger sliding across the ground. The robot's systems hummed with alarm as she struggled to regain her footing. Gipsy Danger's spotlights cast wild, erratic shadows on the surrounding water as she slid to a stop. The Jaeger's systems quickly assessed the situation, determining that she had suffered only minor damage. But Knifehead was relentless, pressing its advantage as it charged towards the downed Jaeger. Gipsy Danger's systems sprang into action, her robotic fists clenched and ready to strike. The Jaeger's pilots, Raleigh and Mako, worked in perfect sync, their thoughts and actions merging as they struggled to get Gipsy Danger back on her feet. Come on, Gipsy. Raleigh shouted, his voice echoing through the comm system. We need to get you up and fighting. Mako's voice was calm and focused. I'm trying, Raleigh. But Knifehead is too strong. We need to come up with a new strategy. Gipsy Danger's systems hummed with agreement, her processors racing to come up with a plan to take down the rampaging kaiju. The Jaeger's spotlights cast a fierce glow over the battle-scarred landscape as she prepared to face off against Knifehead once more. Here's a continuation. Gipsy Danger's retractable sword sliced through Knifehead's alien skin, emitting a stream of blue blood as the kaiju let out a deafening screech. But before the Jaeger could deliver the finishing blow, a new threat emerged from the depths. SCP-682, the notorious, hard-to-kill reptile, suddenly appeared behind Knifehead, its powerful jaws snapping wildly as it grabbed the kaiju's tail. The reptile's eyes glowed with an otherworldly energy as it thrashed Knifehead about like a ragdoll, sending the kaiju crashing to the ground. Knifehead slid across the sea floor, its body limp and motionless. Gipsy Danger's systems quickly assessed the situation, determining that the new threat was far more formidable than the defeated kaiju. The Jaeger's spotlights locked onto SCP-682, casting a fierce glow over the reptile's scaly body. Gipsy Danger's sword retracted, replaced by a pair of massive, steel-reinforced fists. You're the new target, SCP-682, Gipsy Danger's pilots declared, their voices firm and resolute. We're going to take you down. SCP-682's jaws snapped wildly, its eyes blazing with fury as it charged towards Gipsy Danger. The reptile's body was a blur of motion, its scales glistening with a malevolent energy. Gipsy Danger stood her ground, her systems humming with anticipation. The battle between the Jaeger and the hard-to-kill reptile had begun, and only one could emerge victorious. Here's a continuation. SCP-682's bladed tail sliced through the water, its razor-sharp edge glinting in the dim light. Gipsy Danger's systems detected the threat, and the Jaeger's sword arm snapped into position, ready to clash with the reptile's deadly tail. The two enemies met in a flurry of steel and scales, their blades ringing out as they exchanged blow after blow. Gipsy Danger's sword arm was a blur of motion, its blade slicing through the water with precision and force. But SCP-682's tail was equally formidable, its bladed edge biting deep into the Jaeger's armor. Gipsy Danger's systems hummed with alarm as the reptile's attacks landed, but the Jaeger refused to back down. The battle raged on, the two enemies clashing in a spectacular display of steel and scales. Gipsy Danger's spotlights cast a fierce glow over the battle-scarred landscape, illuminating the reptile's twisted, nightmarish form. SCP-682's eyes blazed with fury as it fought, its jaws snapping wildly as it sought to crush the Jaeger beneath its bladed tail. But Gipsy Danger was a formidable opponent, her systems honed to perfection as she battled the reptile. The outcome of the battle was far from certain, but one thing was clear, only one of these two enemies would emerge victorious. The fate of the world hung in the balance, and Gipsy Danger was determined to save it from the clutches of the monstrous SCP-682. Here's a continuation. SCP-682's sharp body parts ripped through the water, striking Gipsy Danger's metallic body with precision and force. The Jaeger's armor creaked and groaned under the assault, its systems humming with alarm as the reptile's attacks landed. Dents and scratches began to appear on Gipsy Danger's body, the metal torn and twisted by SCP-682's relentless assault. The Jaeger's spotlights flickered and dimmed, casting eerie shadows on the surrounding water as the reptile's attacks continued to rain down. Gipsy Danger's pilots, Raleigh and Mako, gritted their teeth as they struggled to keep the Jaeger upright. The robot's systems were taking a pounding, its armor breached in multiple places as SCP-682's attacks continued to land. We need to get out of here, now. Raleigh shouted, his voice echoing through the comm system. Mako's voice was calm and focused. I'm trying, Raleigh. But SCP-682 is too fast, too strong. We need to come up with a new plan if we're going to take it down. Gipsy Danger's systems hummed with agreement, her processors racing to come up with a strategy to defeat the monstrous SCP-682. But for now, the Jaeger was on the defensive, struggling to survive the reptile's relentless assault. The battle raged on, the outcome hanging precariously in the balance. Would Gipsy Danger emerge victorious, or would SCP-682 prove too powerful to defeat? Only time would tell. Here's a continuation. SCP-682's powerful jaws snapped shut around Gipsy Danger's back, its teeth sinking deep into the Jaeger's armor. The reptile's eyes blazed with fury as it began to thrash and throw the robot, sending Gipsy Danger sliding across the ground. The Jaeger's systems hummed with alarm as it struggled to regain its footing. But SCP-682 was relentless, its grip on Gipsy Danger's back unyielding as it continued to toss the robot about like a ragdoll. Gipsy Danger's spotlights flickered and dimmed, casting eerie shadows on the surrounding water as the reptile's attacks continued to rain down. The Jaeger's armor creaked and groaned under the assault, its systems straining to keep up with the reptile's lightning-fast movements. Raleigh and Mako's voices were laced with concern as they struggled to maintain control of the Jaeger. We're losing control. Raleigh shouted. We need to get out of here, now. Mako's voice was calm and focused, but laced with a hint of desperation. I'm trying, Raleigh. But SCP-682 is too strong. We need to come up with a new plan, and fast. Gipsy Danger's systems hummed with agreement, her processors racing to come up with a strategy to defeat the monstrous SCP-682. But for now, the Jaeger was at the mercy of the reptile, struggling to survive the relentless assault. The battle raged on, the outcome hanging precariously in the balance. Would Gipsy Danger emerge victorious, or would SCP-682 prove too powerful to defeat? Only time would tell. Here's a continuation. Gipsy Danger launched itself at SCP-682, determined to take down the monstrous reptile. But before the Jaeger could land a blow, SCP-682 suddenly swung its massive tail, striking Gipsy Danger with a powerful slap. The Jaeger flew through the air, its systems reeling from the impact. But before Gipsy Danger could recover, a new challenger entered the fray. Knifehead, the kaiju that Gipsy Danger had defeated earlier, suddenly returned to battle. The kaiju's sharp, knife-like head glowed with an eerie blue light as it charged towards SCP-682. The two monsters clashed in a flurry of steel and scales, their blows ringing out as they exchanged attack after attack. Knifehead's sharp head sliced through SCP-682's bladed tail, scratching the thick skin and causing the reptile to roar in pain. SCP-682 retaliated with a powerful swipe of its tail, but Knifehead dodged the attack with ease. The kaiju counterattacked with a series of swift, precise strikes, its sharp head slicing through SCP-682's scales and causing the reptile to stumble. Gipsy Danger, still recovering from the tail slap, watched the battle between Knifehead and SCP-682 with interest. The Jaeger's systems hummed with analysis, determining that the two monsters were evenly matched. But Gipsy Danger knew that it couldn't stay out of the battle for long. The Jaeger's systems were recovering, and it was time to rejoin the fight. With a mighty roar, Gipsy Danger launched itself back into battle, its steel fists glowing with determination. The Jaeger was ready to take down both Knifehead and SCP-682, and emerge victorious from the epic battle. Here's a continuation. Gipsy Danger returned to the battle with a vengeance, its systems humming with determination. The Jaeger's spotlights locked onto SCP-682 and Knifehead, illuminating the two monsters in a fierce glow. With a mighty roar, Gipsy Danger launched itself at SCP-682, its rocket elbow punch glowing with energy. The Jaeger's arm extended, striking SCP-682 with a powerful blow that sent the reptile flying across the seafloor. SCP-682 crashed into the distance, its body sending up a massive cloud of sediment as it struggled to regain its footing. Gipsy Danger ignored the reptile for now, focusing its attention on Knifehead. The kaiju's sharp, knife-like head glowed with an eerie blue light as it charged towards Gipsy Danger. The Jaeger met the kaiju head-on, its steel fists clashing with Knifehead's sharp blades in a flurry of sparks and steel. The battle between Gipsy Danger and Knifehead was intense, the two enemies exchanging blow after blow as they fought for dominance. Gipsy Danger's systems hummed with effort, its processors working overtime to keep up with the kaiju's lightning-fast movements. But Gipsy Danger was no ordinary Jaeger. Its systems had been honed to perfection, its pilots trained to work in perfect sync. The Jaeger's steel fists struck true, landing blow after blow on Knifehead's sharp blades. The kaiju stumbled back, its blades flashing wildly as it struggled to regain its footing. Gipsy Danger pressed its advantage, its steel fists pounding against Knifehead's body with precision and force. The outcome of the battle was far from certain, but one thing was clear, Gipsy Danger was determined to emerge victorious, no matter the cost. Here's a continuation. Gipsy Danger's sword arm sliced through the water, its blade glowing with a faint blue light as it clashed with Knifehead's sharp, knife-like head. The two enemies met in a flurry of steel and sparks, their blows ringing out as they exchanged attack after attack. Knifehead's head glowed with an eerie blue light as it struck at Gipsy Danger's sword arm, its sharp blades slicing through the water with deadly precision. But Gipsy Danger's sword arm was no ordinary blade, it was a precision-crafted instrument of war, designed to take down even the most formidable foes. The sword arm sliced through Knifehead's attacks, its blade biting deep into the kaiju's sharp head. Knifehead let out a deafening screech as it stumbled back, its blades flashing wildly as it struggled to regain its footing. Gipsy Danger pressed its advantage, its sword arm striking true again and again. Knifehead's head glowed with an increasingly faint blue light as it stumbled back, its blades slicing through the water with decreasing precision. The battle was far from over, but Gipsy Danger had gained the upper hand. Its sword arm continued to clash with Knifehead's sharp head, the two enemies exchanging blow after blow as they fought for dominance. But just as it seemed that Gipsy Danger was about to emerge victorious, SCP-682 suddenly reappeared on the scene, its massive body undulating as it prepared to strike. Here's a continuation. The ocean floor shook as the three titans crashed and rolled, their massive bodies sending up clouds of sediment as they collided with the underwater rocks. SCP-682's powerful jaws snapped shut around Gipsy Danger's arm, and the reptile threw the Jaeger at the rock wall with incredible force. Gipsy Danger crashed into the rock wall, its systems reeling from the impact. But the Jaeger quickly regained its footing, its spotlights flickering back to life as it assessed the situation. Meanwhile, SCP-682 had turned its attention to Knifehead. The reptile's jaws snapped shut around the kaiju's tail, and it began to swing Knifehead in a circular motion. The kaiju's sharp head and blades flailed wildly as it was swung around, its body crashing into the underwater rocks with deafening force. Gipsy Danger watched in awe as SCP-682 swung Knifehead around like a ragdoll. But the Jaeger's attention was short-lived, as SCP-682 suddenly released Knifehead from its grasp. The kaiju flew through the water, its body crashing into Gipsy Danger with incredible force. The two titans were sent flying through the underwater rocks, their bodies crashing and rolling as they struggled to regain their footing. The battle was chaos incarnate, the three titans clashing and crashing in a frenzy of steel and scales. The ocean floor shook and trembled, the underwater rocks sending up clouds of sediment as the battle raged on. But in the midst of the chaos, Gipsy Danger's systems remained focused, its processors working overtime to come up with a plan to take down the two monsters and emerge victorious from the battle. Here's a continuation. Gipsy Danger continued to attack Knifehead with renewed ferocity, its steel fists pounding against the kaiju's sharp head and blades. But Knifehead refused to back down, its jaws snapping shut around Gipsy Danger's arm as it tried to bite through the Jaeger's armor. Gipsy Danger immediately pushed Knifehead back, its systems humming with effort as it struggled to break free from the kaiju's grip. But the Jaeger quickly regained its footing, its steel fist striking true as it grabbed Knifehead's tail and started to swing, thrash, and throw the kaiju at the underwater rocky wall. Knifehead's body crashed into the rocks with deafening force, its sharp head and blades scraping against the stone as it struggled to regain its footing. But Gipsy Danger gave it no quarter, its steel fists pounding against the kaiju's body as it continued to attack. Just as it seemed that Gipsy Danger was about to emerge victorious, SCP-682 suddenly appeared out of the darkness, its bladed tail slicing through the water with deadly precision. The reptile's tail slapped Gipsy Danger with incredible force, sending the Jaeger flying across the ocean floor. Gipsy Danger crashed into the rocks, its systems reeling from the impact. The Jaeger's spotlights flickered and dimmed, its steel body creaking and groaning as it struggled to regain its footing. SCP-682 loomed over Gipsy Danger, its eyes blazing with fury as it prepared to deliver the finishing blow. But the Jaeger's systems were far from defeated, its processors working overtime to come up with a plan to take down the reptile and emerge victorious from the battle. Here's a continuation. Gipsy Danger's bladed arm sliced through the water, striking SCP-682 with precision and force. But the reptile was relentless, its jaws snapping shut around Gipsy Danger's legs as it thrashed and threw the Jaeger straight up. Gipsy Danger crashed through multiple rocks, its systems reeling from the impact. But the Jaeger quickly regained its footing, its spotlights flickering back to life as it assessed the situation. Meanwhile, Knifehead had returned to clash with SCP-682. The kaiju's sharp, knife-like head and massive clawed arms scratched the thick, scaly skin of SCP-682. But the reptile was unfazed, its body regenerating at an incredible rate as it countered Knifehead's attack. SCP-682's tail sliced through the water, striking Knifehead with incredible force and sending the kaiju flying. The reptile quickly closed the distance, its jaws snapping shut around Knifehead's body as it began to ram the kaiju through multiple rocky walls. The two titans crashed and rolled, their bodies clashing in a frenzy of steel and scales. But SCP-682 was the stronger of the two, its jaws gripping Knifehead's body like a vice as it swung the kaiju around and threw it at a rocky spike. Knifehead's body impaled itself on the spike, its blue blood spreading everywhere as it let out a painful roar. The kaiju's body twitched and convulsed, its systems shutting down as it succumbed to its injuries. SCP-682 turned its attention back to Gipsy Danger, its eyes blazing with fury as it charged towards the Jaeger. The battle was far from over, and Gipsy Danger was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The Jaeger's systems hummed with determination, its processors working overtime to come up with a plan to take down the reptile and emerge victorious from the battle. The stage was set for an epic showdown between Gipsy Danger and SCP-682. Here's a continuation. Gipsy Danger continued to clash with SCP-682, its steel fists pounding against the reptile's scaly skin. But SCP-682 was relentless, its jaws snapping shut around Gipsy Danger's body as it began to crash to the floor and roll around with the Jaeger. The two titans tumbled and twisted, their bodies clashing in a frenzy of steel and scales. Gipsy Danger's bladed arm sliced through the water, scratching SCP-682's scaly skin and causing the reptile to roar in pain. But SCP-682 refused to let go, its jaws gripping Gipsy Danger's body like a vice as it continued to roll and crash around the ocean floor. The reptile's body was a blur of motion, its scales glistening with a malevolent energy as it battled the Jaeger. Gipsy Danger's systems hummed with effort, its processors working overtime to keep up with the reptile's lightning-fast movements. The Jaeger's spotlights flickered and dimmed, its steel body creaking and groaning as it struggled to withstand the reptile's crushing grip. But Gipsy Danger refused to give up, its bladed arm slicing through the water with precision and force. The Jaeger's systems were determined to take down the reptile, no matter the cost. The battle raged on, the two titans clashing and crashing around the ocean floor. The outcome was far from certain, but one thing was clear, only one of these two enemies would emerge victorious. Here's a continuation. SCP-682's jaws gripped Gipsy Danger's body like a vice, its teeth sinking deep into the Jaeger's armor. The reptile began to rise up from the depths, its massive body undulating as it propelled itself towards the surface. Gipsy Danger's systems hummed with effort, its processors working overtime to try and break free from the reptile's crushing grip. But SCP-682 was too strong, its jaws holding fast as it burst through the surface of the water and onto the empty, icy landscape. The two titans crashed onto the frozen ground, their blades clashing in a flurry of steel and scales. Gipsy Danger's bladed arm sliced through the air, striking SCP-682's scaly skin with precision and force. But the reptile was relentless, its own blades flashing in the dim light as it countered the Jaeger's attack. The battle raged on, the two enemies exchanging blow after blow as they clashed across the icy landscape. The air was filled with the sound of scraping steel and the reptile's deafening roars, the ground shaking beneath their feet as they fought. Gipsy Danger's systems were pushed to the limit, its processors straining to keep up with the reptile's lightning-fast movements. But the Jaeger refused to back down, its bladed arm slicing through the air with deadly precision as it battled the monstrous SCP-682. The outcome of the battle was far from certain, but one thing was clear, only one of these two enemies would emerge victorious from the frozen, icy landscape. Here's a continuation. Gipsy Danger's bladed arm sliced through the air, clashing with SCP-682's tail in a shower of sparks. The reptile's tail was a blur of motion, its bladed edge slicing through the air with deadly precision. But Gipsy Danger's bladed arm was equal to the task, its steel blade biting deep into the reptile's tail as the two enemies clashed. SCP-682 launched itself at Gipsy Danger, its massive body undulating as it propelled itself forward. But Gipsy Danger was ready, its systems humming with anticipation as it prepared to counter the reptile's attack. With a burst of speed and power, Gipsy Danger launched its rocket elbow punch, striking SCP-682 with incredible force and sending it flying sideways. The reptile's body crashed into the icy ground, its scales scraping against the frozen surface as it slid to a stop on the left side. SCP-682 quickly regained its footing, its eyes blazing with fury as it prepared to launch itself at Gipsy Danger once more. But the Jaeger was ready, its bladed arm slicing through the air as it prepared to defend itself against the reptile's attack. The battle raged on, the two enemies exchanging blow after blow as they clashed across the icy landscape. The air was filled with the sound of scraping steel and the reptile's deafening roars, the ground shaking beneath their feet as they fought. Gipsy Danger's systems were pushed to the limit, its processors straining to keep up with the reptile's lightning-fast movements. But the Jaeger refused to back down, its bladed arm slicing through the air with deadly precision as it battled the monstrous SCP-682. Here's a continuation. SCP-682 launched itself at Gipsy Danger, its massive body undulating as it propelled itself forward. But Gipsy Danger was ready, its systems humming with anticipation as it prepared to counter the reptile's attack. With a swift and powerful motion, Gipsy Danger grabbed SCP-682's tail and swung it around, using the reptile's own momentum against it. SCP-682's body crashed into the icy ground, its scales scraping against the frozen surface as it slid to a stop. But before Gipsy Danger could deliver the finishing blow, a new challenger appeared on the scene. Tigrex, the mighty monster from the Monster Hunter universe, suddenly emerged from the icy landscape, its eyes fixed intently on Gipsy Danger. Tigrex charged towards Gipsy Danger, its massive claws swiping through the air with deadly precision. Gipsy Danger met the monster head-on, its bladed arm slicing through the air as it clashed with Tigrex. The battle was intense, the two enemies exchanging blow after blow as they fought across the icy landscape. Gipsy Danger's systems were pushed to the limit, its processors straining to keep up with Tigrex's lightning-fast movements. But Gipsy Danger refused to back down, its bladed arm slicing through the air with deadly precision as it battled the mighty Tigrex. SCP-682, meanwhile, was slowly getting back to its feet, its eyes fixed intently on Gipsy Danger as it prepared to rejoin the battle. The stage was set for an epic showdown between Gipsy Danger, Tigrex, and SCP-682. Only one of these three titans would emerge victorious from the icy landscape. Here's a continuation. Gipsy Danger's plasma arm blaster charged up, its energy cells humming with power as it prepared to deliver a devastating shot to Tigrex's face. The blaster fired, its plasma bolt striking Tigrex with incredible force and sending the monster stumbling back. But Tigrex was far from defeated. The monster's winged forelimbs began to beat the air, its wings generating powerful gusts of wind as it lifted off the ground and took to the skies. Tigrex swooped down, its wings tucking in as it landed on Gipsy Danger's shoulders. The monster's claws dug deep into the Jaeger's armor, its weight crushing down on Gipsy Danger as it tried to pin the robot to the ground. Gipsy Danger's systems hummed with effort, its processors straining to keep up with Tigrex's lightning-fast movements. The Jaeger's arms flailed wildly, its fists striking Tigrex's body with powerful blows as it tried to shake the monster off. But Tigrex held fast, its claws digging deeper into Gipsy Danger's armor as it continued to pin the Jaeger to the ground. The two enemies slid across the icy ground, their bodies locked in a fierce struggle as they battled for dominance. SCP-682, meanwhile, was slowly closing in on the pair, its eyes fixed intently on Gipsy Danger as it prepared to strike. The stage was set for an epic showdown between Gipsy Danger, Tigrex, and SCP-682. Only one of these three titans would emerge victorious from the icy landscape. Here's a continuation. Gipsy Danger's sword sliced through the air, striking Tigrex's chest with precision and force. The monster let out a deafening roar as it stumbled back, its wings beating wildly as it tried to regain its footing. But before Tigrex could recover, SCP-682 appeared behind it, its massive body undulating as it prepared to strike. The reptile's jaws snapped shut around Tigrex's tail, its teeth sinking deep into the monster's scales as it began to thrash it about. Tigrex's body crashed into the icy ground, its scales scraping against the frozen surface as SCP-682 slammed it into the ground again and again. The monster's wings beat wildly, its claws scrabbling at the ice as it tried to break free from SCP-682's crushing grip. But SCP-682 was relentless, its jaws holding fast as it continued to thrash Tigrex about. Finally, the reptile released its grip, sending Tigrex's body crashing into the distance. SCP-682 turned its attention back to Gipsy Danger, its eyes blazing with fury as it charged towards the Jaeger. Gipsy Danger stood its ground, its sword at the ready as it prepared to face off against the monstrous SCP-682. The battle was far from over, but one thing was clear, only one of these three titans would emerge victorious from the icy landscape. The stage was set for an epic showdown between Gipsy Danger and SCP-682. Here's a continuation. SCP-682 continued to clash with Gipsy Danger, its massive body undulating as it struck the Jaeger with powerful blows. Gipsy Danger's sword sliced through the air, striking SCP-682's scaly skin with precision and force. But just as it seemed that the battle was reaching its climax, Tigrex suddenly returned to the fray. The monster's wings beat wildly as it swooped down, its claws extended as it prepared to strike. The three titans clashed in a frenzy of steel and scales, their bodies locked in a fierce struggle as they battled for dominance. Gipsy Danger's sword sliced through the air, striking SCP-682's scaly skin with precision and force. Tigrex's claws raked across SCP-682's body, its wings beating wildly as it tried to gain the upper hand. SCP-682's jaws snapped shut around Tigrex's tail, its teeth sinking deep into the monster's scales as it tried to crush its opponent. Gipsy Danger took advantage of the distraction to strike SCP-682 with a powerful blow, its sword slicing through the reptile's scaly skin with precision and force. But SCP-682 was relentless, its body regenerating at an incredible rate as it continued to battle the two opponents. The three-way battle raged on, the titans exchanging blow after blow as they fought for dominance. The outcome was far from certain, but one thing was clear, only one of these three titans would emerge victorious from the icy landscape. The stage was set for an epic showdown between Gipsy Danger, Tigrex, and SCP-682. The battle would be fierce, the stakes would be high, and only the strongest would survive. Here's a continuation. SCP-682's forelimbs pushed back against Gipsy Danger, sending the Jaeger flying across the icy landscape. But SCP-682's attention was quickly diverted to Tigrex, which it grabbed by the throat and began to thrash about. Tigrex's body crashed into the ground, its scales scraping against the icy surface as SCP-682 slammed it into the ground again and again. But Tigrex refused to give up, its wings beating wildly as it managed to break free from SCP-682's grasp and take to the skies. The monster swooped down, its claws extended as it prepared to strike SCP-682. But the reptile was ready, its forelimbs pushing back against Tigrex and sending it crashing into the ground once more. SCP-682's jaws snapped shut around Tigrex's throat, its teeth sinking deep into the monster's scales as it began to thrash it about like a ragdoll. Tigrex's body crashed into the ground, its scales scraping against the icy surface as SCP-682 slammed it into the ground again and again. Finally, SCP-682's jaws released their grip on Tigrex's throat, its forelimbs prying open the monster's jaws and killing it instantly. The reptile's gaze then turned to Gipsy Danger, which was now entering a powerful state known as Thermodanger. Gipsy Danger's body began to glow with an orange aura, its strength and speed increasing exponentially as it prepared to face off against SCP-682. The Jaeger's metallic fists clenched, its processors humming with energy as it launched itself at SCP-682. The reptile was caught off guard, its body sent flying across the icy landscape by a single hit from Gipsy Danger's powered-up fists. SCP-682's scales scraped against the icy surface as it slid to a stop, its eyes fixed intently on Gipsy Danger as it prepared to counterattack. The battle was far from over, but one thing was clear, Gipsy Danger was now the dominant force on the battlefield. SCP-682 would have to summon all its strength and cunning if it was to have any hope of defeating the powered-up Jaeger. Here's a continuation. Gipsy Danger's speed increased exponentially, its systems humming with energy as it suddenly dashed towards SCP-682. The reptile was caught off guard, its body sent sliding across the icy ground as Gipsy Danger struck it with incredible force. SCP-682 quickly regained its footing, its eyes blazing with fury as it prepared to counterattack. The reptile's green glowing bladed tail sliced through the air, striking Gipsy Danger with precision and force. But the powered-up Jaeger was unfazed, its speed and agility allowing it to dodge and weave around SCP-682's attacks. Gipsy Danger's metallic fist struck back with incredible force, its blows landing with precision and power as it battled the reptile. The two enemies clashed in a frenzy of steel and scales, their bodies locked in a fierce struggle as they battled for dominance. SCP-682's bladed tail sliced through the air, striking Gipsy Danger with precision and force. But the Jaeger's armor held strong, its systems humming with energy as it continued to fight back. Gipsy Danger's speed and agility allowed it to stay one step ahead of SCP-682's attacks, its metallic fists striking back with incredible force as it battled the reptile. The outcome of the battle was far from certain, but one thing was clear, only one of these two titans would emerge victorious from the icy landscape. The battle raged on, the two enemies exchanging blow after blow as they fought for dominance. The stage was set for an epic showdown between Gipsy Danger and SCP-682. Only time would tell which of these two titans would emerge victorious. Here's a continuation. The two titans clashed in a frenzy of steel and scales, their blows landing with incredible force as they battled for dominance. The earth shook beneath their feet, the icy landscape trembling as they exchanged blow after blow. For 10 hours straight, the battle raged on, the two enemies trading increasingly heavy blows as they fought for supremacy. But finally, after what seemed like an eternity, they separated, their bodies locked in a momentary standoff. The air was heavy with tension as the two titans faced off against each other. SCP-682's green glowing bladed tail quivered with anticipation, its multiple eyes fixed intently on Gipsy Danger. The Jaeger's orange glowing robotic fist clenched, its systems humming with energy as it prepared to deliver the final blow. And then, in a flash of light, the two titans clashed. SCP-682's bladed tail and Gipsy Danger's robotic fist collided in a shower of sparks, their massive bodies locked in a struggle that seemed to shake the very foundations of the earth. The shockwaves from their collision rippled across the icy landscape, shattering the frozen ground and sending massive chunks of ice flying in all directions. The air was filled with the sound of cracking ice and the deafening roar of the two titans as they clashed. And then, as suddenly as it had begun, the battle was over. The shockwaves dissipated, revealing SCP-682 panting heavily in exhaustion, its multiple eyes fixed on Gipsy Danger with a mixture of respect and admiration. The Jaeger stood tall, its orange glow fading as its systems gradually shut down. The robot's body slowly came to a stop, its mechanical limbs locking into place as it stood motionless, a towering statue of steel and circuitry. SCP-682 stared at the Jaeger for one last time, its eyes seeming to bore into the robot's very soul. And then, with a final nod, the reptile collapsed to the ground, its multiple eyes closing as it succumbed to exhaustion. The screen slowly turned black, the only sound the distant creaking of ice and the faint hum of Gipsy Danger's systems as they powered down. The battle was over, and the Jaeger had emerged victorious. But at what cost? The screen faded to black, leaving the audience to ponder the answer to that question.